It had to happen, of course. Yes, Harry and Meghan, it appears that they're on the brink of a huge tiff. That's something of an argument for those that don't know that expression. But what's it about, and what does the United Kingdom, as ever, have to do with it? Good morning, Neil Sean here in the very heart of London. Thank you so much as ever for your kind company. Hope you're all enjoying the show, and thank you, welcome one and all brand new subscribers. Just keep rising, and it's all really down to you. Let me explain, by the way, in case people don't understand, it costs nothing to watch this channel. It's free on YouTube. A lot of people are asking me, is there a charge? No, I'm not charging for anything, and I don't want you to buy any t-shirts, hats, merchandise, books, whatever. I'm just here for you, bringing you the news as we find it across London while we take a break from filming some of the other channels, you know. That was the idea of the channel, really, to just sort of get people to get, you know, the other side of the story, unbiased, you know, all of that sort of stuff. So we just tell you what's going on. Now, what's interesting here, I think, in this particular story is this. You know, it's a big story really when you think, because it appears that Harry and Meghan are having something of an in-battle, a bit of an in-fight. And this really, when you think about it, is a strange situation in itself, simply because they always present a united front, always clutching hands and being very romantic and rubbing each other's backs and all of that sort of stuff. Very nice, very tactile, of course, and of course very showbiz, isn't it? Which is what they are now here in the 21st century, living out in California, not really royals, just celebrities, micro-celebrities at that. But the bigger problem, of course, with Harry and Meghan is they like to get litigious, particularly on things that really argue them. You know, if they don't like the narrative, then they're certainly on your back and want some sort of apology, as we saw with the Mail Online. Harry's currently still in litigation with the King's now government over his security. Odd in itself, isn't it? But, you know, that's the way they go. But one area now that they've decided to fall on is that Harry wants to get litigious with a certain individual. And seemingly for once, Meghan's not in agreement. But as ever, what's the background? Well, the story really is the biggest story of the year so far. It all centres upon now that infamous book by the celebrated author Tom Bower, Revenge. Now, if you remember, there's some major revelations in there, and when you think about it, you know, they're very, very near the mark. There's no two ways about it. They would have to be backed up 100%, and of course, Tom, as a former lawyer, would know a lot about that. But what's interesting, I find, is that so far there's been no litigation against him or indeed the publisher. People were expecting it, you know, they thought, oh no, you know, the Markles will certainly come out in force, particularly Meghan, who's painted in a very dramatic dark light. And as we also told you recently, many people have been sending those books over to Windsor, Frogmore House, and, you know, cottage where they're living. A little bit cruel, but a bit funny also, typical British sense of humour. Now, seemingly, Prince Harry must have seen or heard some elements of the book. And as I say, they're very revealing, you know. Now, the reason for this is he apparently, and as ever we have to say allegedly, and a very good source tells me that he does indeed fancy getting litigious against the publisher and indeed Tom Bower. But apparently his wife, Meghan, has decided similarly against this. Now, this has caused something of a bit of a friction between them. Now, you can understand this, you know, Harry's trying to protect his wife, her reputation, whatever you want to call it, you know. He's out there trying to defend her, as he has really from the start. He's openly stated that, didn't he, in the interview with Oprah Winfrey. But for once it appears that Meghan is backing down, wants to draw a line under it and move on, not wishing to give him any more headlines or indeed any more publicity. Now, one could speculate, of course, that perhaps she's a little concerned about going down this route. But whichever way you look at it, they only ever really issue litigation here in the United Kingdom. Nothing so far against any of the tabloids, books or anything out into the United States of America. Odd that, isn't it? So you can understand that perhaps Meghan's using the sad situation that we're all facing ourselves in to draw a line under it and move on right now. But for Harry, there's obviously something niggling in the back of his mind. Seemingly, he wants to protect his wife. And for once, Meghan's claiming, it's fine, I've got this. Whichever way, this story is far from a closed chapter. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.